Hey everybody, my name is Brittany van Schravendijk. I'm also known as KB Fit Brit. I'm a master sport and world record holder in kettlebell long cycle. Talk to you about single arm long cycle. Part one of long cycle is going to be the clean. Swinging the bell up into the rack position. You can either hold the bell thumb facing forward this way or thumb facing back this way. It's going to be personal preference. I prefer to lift single long cycle with my thumb forward because it's going to keep my elbow closer to my body. So for the clean, I'm going to swing the bell, catch it in the rack position. Couple pointers we want to pay attention to. When our bell is in the rack position, first of all, it should be sitting in the V of my shoulder, my elbow, and my hand. It shouldn't be sitting off to the side like this. It should be sitting right on the front of the body. Next pointer is wrist. Should be straight through the handle. There should be no space between my forearm and the bell handle here. I want to make sure that this wrist is straight and again, not bent back this way. This is going to be a lot harder on my forearm and my wrist. So right here, next pointer, elbow should be into my hip, or if I don't have the requisite mobility for that, it can just be into my body somewhere. If the elbow's out, this way it's going to be really hard to get the bell safely into the overhead position later on when we do the kettlebell jerk. So elbow should be into the body. In order to get the bell here into this position with my hand fully inserted, there's a point during the clean which I need to open my hand and push it through. So as soon as my hips have pushed all the way through, I'm just going to pull my shoulder back and push my hand into place. If I don't do that, I'm not going to be able to get the bell into the proper position and rack. So as I'm doing the clean, right here, I'm opening my hand, open, and sliding through. Open, and sliding it into place. So that's going to be really crucial. It's going to take a lot of practice to get that right rack position there, but it's going to be really crucial, especially when moving into the next step, into the jerk. Next pointer I want to think about is keeping my elbow as tight to my body as I can throughout this lift. So you don't want to have a lot of space between your arm and your body, especially when you're dropping the bell down. You don't want to cast the bell really far out as you're lifting it. If something's really far away from me, how well can I control it? Not well. So let's try to keep that bell nice and tight to the body throughout the lift. Notice my elbows barely leaving my hip. If you get that down, you're going to be perfectly set up to move into the jerk section of the long cycle. The next portion of kettlebell long cycle is the jerk, getting the bell from the rack position to overhead using the power of our legs and hips. So we're going to have two dips in the kettlebell jerk. The first dip is going to be right here, sinking forward. Notice that my hips and my knees stay in line. So I'm not breaking that line by having my hips back. If my hips are back, my elbow is far from my body. And again, we want to maintain a good connection between the elbow and the hip. So I'm just going to sink my knees forward. It doesn't need to be a deep dip. So if my heels are coming off the ground, that's too low. I don't need to go that low. The sole purpose of that first dip is to get a good connection between your elbow and your hip. Sinking in. So I always tell people, first dip, just sink. After that, the hips are going to launch up, which is going to then transfer momentum to the bell, and then I'm going to drop under to the second dip. So notice my second dip is very different from my first dip. Here, my hips are back, and they're right under the weight of that bell. So it's like a semi-squat position here. First dip is here, second dip is here. Now, in between those, my legs have to move fast in order to get under the bell. The jerk is, there's no slow motion version. You have to move fast. So even when you're doing a long set, even if your pace is slow, that just means you're resting longer in the rack. Your jerk, your leg action, is never going to be slow. So let's demonstrate a couple of repetitions for you. From the side here, so you can see my first and second dip. Part 3, putting the long cycle all together. Now you know the clean, you know the jerk. All you're going to do is combine those and then repeat. There are a couple of nuances you want to remember though. As you clean the bell, some of you might catch with your knees a little bent. That's okay as long as you straighten your legs before you go into the jerk. So at most kettlebell competitions, it will be counted as a no rep if you go straight into the dip, right into the jerk. Secondly, that's not efficient with the heavy bells because you are wasting some energy. You're already dropping down, whereas if you straighten your legs and then drop them down, you're getting a better burst of energy to launch that bell up. So make sure before you do your jerk, you straighten your knees out and then launch up overhead. Second pointer is that on the way down, as we're dropping out of the jerk, we're going to do what we call a waterfall drop. So again, if you're going a little bit slower pace, you're only going to rest on the way up. So on the way up, when I clean, I can take a couple of breaths here if I need to rest, then go up. But on the way down, I'm going to waterfall right back into my drop. So I don't want to waste gravity helping me on the way down. So a couple more reps of full on cycle for you. Now you have all the pieces to start practicing your long cycle. If you have any more specific questions or you need more information on Kettlebell Sport, you want to know how to train, check out my website, kbfitbrit.com. Find me on Facebook, kbfitbrit, or on Instagram at kbfitbrit. Thanks for watching and good luck.